everyone. Welcome to another Black History Month edition of Trap Chat, doing your thing while doing their thing. Whew, boy, I am joined by a true Black Renaissance man today, Stretch Garrett. If I run down his resume really quickly, multimedia manager, on air personality, author, Towson grad, proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Baltimore native. Whew, so much more. Stretch, welcome. How are you?
What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Good to
You,
see you.
you
I need to
too.
take you on the road with me, so you can just amp me up every time I go
So
and
I could
step
be your
out.
hype man? Lady,
You
hype
hype
woman.
woman. You can flavor it up for me. You know what I mean?
Word. I got you. I got you. So we're happy to have you here. Anything I missed in your bio that you want to shout out?
Nah, I think you did a good job. You said it all. I'm just honored to be here, and thank you for even thinking about me to be a part of this podcast, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I do. This is a career-focused podcast. So please share your remarkable career journey, including how you manage the demands of your role as a multimedia manager for the FDA's Office of Regulatory Affairs, while also fulfilling your responsibilities as an on-air personality. And let us know, are there any specific strategies you employ to maintain that balance between doing your thing and doing their thing?
Oh, absolutely. So, well, first and foremost, like my true profession really is in the world of media in the sense of radio. Like that's my love. That's what I love doing, and been doing it for 28 years, as a matter of fact, in some form of capacity, whether it be on the air or as a programming or whatever the case may be. But I think for the most important part, like for me, when I made that transition into the federal government, I still wanted to really want to find a position that stayed true to my true, genuine, love for what I do. Now they're completely, totally different, worlds. Don't get me wrong. And I never really thought I would work for the federal government, but that's what kind of happened when I moved back to the area back in 2010. So I was working for Atlantic Records doing digital marketing for Bad Boy,
Mm.
and at that time, excuse me, they were going through a change in the sense of they took the label. Puff took the label from off of Atlantic and moved it to Interscope, which is back on the West Coast. And I had already lived on the West Coast, doing radio out there and working for Yahoo Music. That it didn't make sense, I don't know, for me to go back. I was already back on the East Coast. I did my stint on the West Coast. And so I was like, well, there's only one other place that I really wanted to live, and that was DC. Being I am from Baltimore, so what is an easy, transition coming back, but it was all about trying to find a job. And so, when you come back down this way, everybody is pretty much cemented in doing, what people do in DC. They work for the government, and I'm not the 9 to 5 kind of cat. I never was, never will be per se. But I found
Mhm.
my niche, with working in the FDA, and so it's like my position with the as a multimedia manager. Like I oversee and do a lot of our podcasts. Similar to what we're doing right
Oh,
now.
nice.
Yeah, so I produce, host our internal and external podcasts. I work on video content, some social media aspects as well, but just trying to continue to get the story out for what it is that we do. But being on the radio, that's my outlet. It's my fun time. And so I just recently came back to Radio One Baltimore. Um,
Yay.
at Magic 95.9, a station or company, rather, I should say. I left 20 years ago, 2004.
Whoa.
I worked in my home city before I moved to California. So this is kind of like a full circle moment for me to be able to come back 20 years later, uh, uh, not being 28, but being 48, and a seasoned guy. Not the young kid that I was, back then, but
Yeah.
definitely I'm looking forward to this second run.
Yeah.
But as far as balance is concerned, not really, not too many things to uh, I guess that kind of adds or deflects from certain things, because doing the radio, that's off hours from
Okay.
my time. I'm just on the air once a week, um,
Nice.
on Friday nights, and it's a beautiful thing.
Very nice. So you touched on a lot of stuff that we're going to get a little bit more in depth in
Mhm.
later on. But you did talk about how you've worked at Yahoo Music. You've also worked at AOL Music, Atlantic Records, like you said, BET.com.
Mhm.
What unique insights did you gain from each organization, and how did your roles evolve across those platforms?
Um, I think the most important thing I think I gathered from all of those, working from all those different companies, was the sense of staying humble but also staying hungry. Kind of finding some way to make yourself memorable, because there are a lot of I guess they say fish in the sea, um, and you want to be known or be seen as one of the bigger fish, maybe a shark. But not as vicious, but just so people can put their eyes on you, and let them know that you're out here really doing something memorable, and doing things that's going to be beneficial for not only for the company, but also as for you, for your growth. um I What was the second part?
Just how has your roles evolved
Oh,
over the course
the-
over
yeah,
these platforms?
yeah, the roles definitely evolved, because they were like different, I guess you can say different pieces of things that I was doing. So when I was working for like Yahoo, I was the quote unquote urban music programmer
Okay.
for Yahoo Music, uh, back when that was just like popping. This was the early onset of streaming, right? And
Gotcha.
so that role was definitely challenging, coming from being a personality, being on the radio, to like, okay,
Mm,
I was still doing radio out there in LA, but my day to day was making sure that I was cultivating or curating rather these playlists, or these radio stations that people were tuning into
yeah.
across the country, across the world. And so that was definitely dope, in the essence of that. Same thing when I was over at AOL. I kind of just did the same role at AOL, but then when I got into the digital marketing aspect of
Mm,
things, or even when I was a online producer for BET.com, all different facets, but all ultimately still kind of are under the same umbrella. So all the skill sets that I've learned or had in other previous positions really made it a lot simpler for me to perform those tasks, or those jobs to the fullest.
it's amazing that you get to have a piece of your passion involved in every role that you do. Like that's amazing. A lot of times folks, they'll have their job, and then they're pursuing their passion, and they're not connected. But the fact that you get to, on your job, be working in your gift and in your talent, like that's amazing. I love that for you. I love that for everybody that does that.
Thank
uh, so that's awesome. You talked about returning to Baltimore after 20 years, and first, let me just say, shout out to you, because you just celebrated a birthday. You've been dope since 1976, or dope since '76, as you say, just
Yeah.
like me, from the 1900s. You're older than me, though. You're a year older than me right now, so I'm gonna continue to be this age until I'm not.
Okay, I'm not mad at you. Hold on to it now.
I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to it. But yeah, returning to radio in your hometown of Baltimore, that must hold some kind of special significance. How does it feel to be back on the airwaves in the city where your journey began?
Man, it feels good. I mean, it's reassuring, it's refreshing. Coming, like I said, coming back from this perspective of not being there for such a long time, even though I was still doing radio in DC, so people could still hear me. But but having an opportunity to just step foot, hit that button, pop that mic, and say those call letters, and just let people be like, "Yo, I'm back," blah blah blah. Now I don't know if people miss me or anything, because I do think I will never say I am the best at this thing, but I am consistent. I'm damn good,
Yeah.
and I think that I have a lot to offer when I'm on the radio. Now,
Okay.
you know, back in the day, I remember I forgot what it was. I forgot it was a paper or like a city paper or something like that. I think
Hmm.
they kind of hated on me. I was like, damn, y'all hating on me. I'm from here,
Whoa.
You know, it's I mean,
They
I,
said
I don't even know if that.
you got too county for them.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe I
Okay.
don't. I never even met the person who wrote the article, or
Ah.
whatever the case may be. But that's here. That's neither here nor there. But like when I saw that stuff like that, I kind of like laughed. But then I was
Hmm.
like, it really kind of like it motivated me because I'm like, okay, so wow, you hating? Why? You
Listen, they hate is mostly somebody admiring the things that you do.
Right?
So, yeah. Listen, haters, would they say haters be your motivators?
Yeah, they motivated me to get the help out of there. That's what.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I left, that was like, that was the pinnacle moment, or a defining moment, I should say, in my life, because it allowed me to go out to another place, completely, you know, blind to the fact. Like I knew like two people that lived in LA, right? And
Whoa.
one of them was one of my homegirls I went to high school with, and the other one was a man who would turn out to be one of my biggest mentors, and one of my good friends, Dave
Hmm,
Tyler. And so I was like, when
nice.
I called up my homegirl, I was like, listen, I was like, yo, I'm moving to LA. And this was like at the very, pinnacle of real world, so everybody was like,
Reality
had like
TV, like the beginning of it?
roommates.
Wow.
Yeah, so everybody had like 8 roommates. And so I was like, I know you got some roommates up, and I think she had 4. I thought it was 4. Yeah, it was 4 roommates. And so I was like, oh no, it was 5, as a matter of fact. It was 5 of them living in this apartment, which was really dope. And I was like, I need the couch for a couple of months.
All right, you're sitting down, but sir, you're what, 6'8"?
6'6".
6'6". I'm sorry, I make up numbers.
Yeah,
That's still tall, like very tall.
I know, but
How big was this couch?
it was large enough for me to get on it. But I mean, I was only on that couch for like a couple of days, because then eventually I had to go,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
buy one of those like blow up mattresses. Like when I tell
Okay.
you, I was completely humbled from
Yeah.
leaving, being a part of a station, and at a pinnacle of my career, when I was still young and like thriving, and the ratings were great for the show that I was doing, to like completely starting over. Like it
Wow.
humbled me
Yeah.
completely, but that's what
So
it was.
so how has working in those different cities, so LA, DC, Baltimore, how have those different local music scenes shaped your perspective and career trajectory?
Um, I mean, when you think about the local music scene, I mean, like for Baltimore or DC or whatever like that, like they have their own sound, from Baltimore with Baltimore Club, from DC to Go Go. So kind of being entrenched, or trying to weave my way through those things. Even when I was like living in the Bay Area, when in San Francisco, they have their own unique sound. They have, it's just like it's engaging and fun to kind of like put yourself in those positions, or put yourself in those areas, so that you kind of get an understanding, and know the history of the music, especially if you are on the radio, or in the position where you are reporting on these things. You want to be factual. You want to make sure you stay true to essence of how these things started. And I honestly can say, I kind of have the best of both worlds, in a sense, because I love music. I love the history of music, and then having being in these different cities that have their own unique sound when it comes to music is very rewarding.
Okay. And then what role do you think radio plays in preserving and promoting Black history and culture? Or excuse me, promoting Black music and culture, especially during Black History Month?
I mean, I think it's very important, especially from the standpoint of having companies like Urban One, Radio One, to be
Hmm.
in existence, because we are, no one can tell our story better than us, right?
Yeah.
And so having that opportunity to be on the air and, give tidbits or give fun facts about a song that, some people may or may not know. I mean, don't get me wrong, salacious and, messiness is always, it's good and stuff like that. But I mean, to me, I'm such an old school, mindset as far as being a jock, as or now that
Mm.
air personalities. I still refer to myself as a jock, because I want to be not only entertaining, but spread spread a little education along the way, because our stories are so impactful, and
Yeah.
also um, very much needed to be heard, because as we get older and the generation above us dies out, a lot of stories, a lot of information dies with them. And if we don't
Mhm.
preserve that information and pass it down, we're basically just kind of like washing our history away to a certain
Wow.
extent. But yeah, I mean, I find that to be the most rewarding and fun part about the job.
I love that. That was a very uh thought provoking answer. I'm gonna have to come back and rewatch that, because I'm like taking it all in and then trying to stay actively listening and like, okay, where do I go next with my questions? Because if he says something that's gonna like take me out, I'm like, dang.
Not bad.
No, 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 no. I mean, again, speaking of storytelling, we're gonna shift just a little bit. You just debuted a novel, Last Request,
Yeah.
released in 2019. So, what inspired you to delve into storytelling through novels, and how does writing compare to your experiences in the music industry?
So writing has always been a passion of mine, in the sense of, I love creating stories. I love telling stories from many different I guess views or viewpoints, I should say. I credit that to a English teacher that I had in high school, at
Okay,
Woodlawn High School, by the name of Miss Jane Efron. She
shout out Miss
was
Jane.
the best teacher I ever had. Like, she saw things in me that I never really thought or saw in myself, right? And
Hmm.
tall, statuesque British woman, that I used to, lovingly call Nurse Nightingale, right? What I'm saying, Florence Nightingale, right?
Yeah.
Because she was just such a dope lady. And I remember just being in her class, or her classes, like in my 11th and 12th grade year, you know, preparing for SATs and things of that nature. And we're sitting there reading, like, Othello or Macbeth. And I'm getting into character when she calls on, back in the day when the teacher would call on you to read out loud, read in front of the class, and so,
Mm.
we're sitting there reading Macbeth, and I'm like, toils, toils, boils. I'm getting into it, because that's what, it was just a vibe. And
Yeah.
um I started working on Last Request when I was still uh, in Baltimore, at working at 92Q, hosting the Love.
Okay.
And so um, the story, or the character of Mason Blake Jr. is loosely based off of me, from the standpoint of, he is a radio personality in Baltimore who hosts a Love,
Yeah.
who doesn't understand or have any concept of what it means to be in love, or being in relationships, blah blah blah. He just stumbles and does this. He's just great at his job, and he loves music, and he loves whatever the case may be. And he has these group of friends who are all vying for him to,
Mm.
get his stuff together, stop, being a playboy, blah 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 blah. Now, I say it's loosely based off of me. It's not all, all different parts of me, and through are interwoven throughout all the characters in the book. But
Okay.
um that was like, it was a simple story for me to tell. Now, it
Okay.
took me 14 years to get the book out, for the most part, because I started like taking notes, because I was listening to like some of these people when they would call in, and they would have their, like, these, weird stories, or not, wouldn't necessarily weird, but like some, some crazy stuff they were talking about, like with their, relationships at that time. So, we're talking like, 2002, 2000
Mm.
ish, it was like, yeah, yeah. it's like it was at the height of Black Planet. So it's like a lot of people was like, oh, I just met such and such, and oh, I'm in love and this. I'm like, well, where'd y'all meet? Black Planet? How do you know? It's just like it was crazy. But when I moved to LA, I took a creative writing class at UCLA. And
Nice.
so that is where the book really started to birth itself a little bit, because as I'm sitting there, doing these assignments, and I was taking each assignment that was given to me, I was like, oh, let me see if I can weave this into, the characters or whatever the case would be. And my the professor there at the time, she said, you really have something. She said, because a lot of times you really, when you think about romance novels, adding the comedy or the comedic aspect to it, it doesn't work a lot of times, because a lot of these readers who are strict romance novels, they like, give me the romance. But
And by romance, you mean like
the doing it and everything,
yeah, the doing it.
give it to me.
The erotica of it all.
Right. Yeah. So I listen. I like to tell jokes, and I'll give you some romance, but all that other, I can't. I'll give you little bits and pieces of it, because it is, entertainment and theater of the mind.
Yeah.
But it's I never really got into that, that wild stuff. But yeah. But
I mean, we're talking about, we've been through the 50 Shades,
yeah, you got the 50 Shades, you got your Zanes and all,
Oh, yeah. You
yeah.
know what? History Month. Yeah, we got before what's her name? E.L. James. Like Zane was. Yeah.
Yeah. And even what was my guy's name? I think he passed away.
Elin Harris.
Elin Harris, yeah.
Mhm.
He has some wild stories. So it's just like, yeah, that's crazy. But to be honest with you, that's how I kind of look at I want to reinvent, but not really reinvent. I want to introduce myself rather to that particular crowd, or that reader who really enjoyed reading those novels back in the 90s, early 2000s. And it's kind of seems like we've kind of like fallen off, for the most part. So I want to try to like introduce myself to some of those folks, or even to a newer audience. And I hope they kind of get a chuckle and get a good laugh, but also have some moments of reflection and some tears and all that good stuff like that when you read Last Request. And now I'm working on the second one, which is a spinoff of Last Request. So I think people will enjoy this story as well. So that's dropping this year.
I love it. I love it. We'll have to pick that up, and you'll have to remind us to pump the book. Maybe you'll come back and talk about that as well at a later date. Okay. All right. So it does sound like music and storytelling have intersected and influenced one another in your creative process. So we can skip that question.
All right.
Listen, this is trap chat. This isn't The View. Everyone knows that.
It's all good.
All right, so this is the last question in our main section. I like to give folks something to take with them. So all of my guests, you all have something to offer. So as someone who has experienced the evolution of the music industry firsthand, what advice would you give to aspiring artists and professionals looking to make their mark in the field?
I think the most important thing I would just say is stay true to yourself. Like, don't, find what your magic is. You know what I'm saying? But, what is it that makes you think that you stand out from the rest?
That's great advice.
It's we have a lot of reciprocal sort of things happening in the industry, where it's just like the same thing, same sound, same this, same that, same this. Like, let's do something that really kind of like stands outside the box, more or less. I know that terminology all the time, like, think outside the box. What's the box? Well, that's for you to determine. So so just come with some originality, and also don't feel the pressure of thinking just because it don't pop when you think it's supposed to pop, that it ain't gonna pop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple as that. Just keep grinding, because not everything is meant for people at that particular time. Sometimes it takes a little time for it to, put them seeds in the ground, keep fertilizing, keep watering, and watch it grow. And then when it does, you know, hit the surface and it's bloomed, you'll see everybody come.
Yes. Remember, you don't plant and harvest on the same day
Mm-hmm.
or at
Yeah,
the same time.
man.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. Wow. So we've reached the more fun, well, uh, equally fun part
Hmm.
of the conversation, the Black History Month rapid fire.
Okay.
All right. How did your upbringing, growing up in Baltimore, shape your understanding and appreciation of Black history and culture?
I think it was a lot. I mean, because you got to think about it. I grew up. I mean, I was born in '76, so basically my
Stop
adolescent
telling
years.
people what year we were born, sir. Like, enough.
I grew up, and I'm an '80s kid, right? So I grew up in
Yeah,
the '80s/90s, more or less, and then Baltimore was enriched with a lot of Black history from
absolutely.
from from the arts to the sciences to
Hmm.
politicians, just a lot. And I took advantage of going to spots like the Great Wax Museum
That
to
museum.
go to kind of get my mind around things, or visiting Frederick Douglass's home, or going to there was a recreation center where I grew up in Catonsville called Banneker, which was named after Benjamin Banneker. So
Okay.
it had a nice layout of information inside of there about history. So it was just like a lot. And now when I think about it, I mean, I think I could have, probably should have learned a little bit more. But I mean, I was a kid, you know what I mean? So it's like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff really came to me, in my teens into my and more so my teens and especially like in college. But I would definitely say a lot of like I said, a lot of the things that I did know or learn at a young age definitely helped mold me as I continue to progress and move forward in my professional and in my scholar years.
I love it. So, next question. What Black historical figure gives you a glimpse of yourself?
That's a great question. Um, hmm. Now, a real person or a fictitious person?
You know, either.
Okay. All right. So when I think of Black excellence, like I was always a big fan of Bernard Shaw, right? I found that
Okay.
dude to be like, that's the guy. Like he's on the news, he's doing,
Yes.
CNN, and he's giving to you and he's letting you know, and there's no holding back, such a true professional. Same thing with Ed Bradley. I thought Ed Bradley was the coolest dude
Oh,
ever. To be, sitting up on TV with his ear pierced, schooling folks, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
schooling them to not to bring him down, but maybe I don't know, maybe just to let them know that he's just not no regular dude from around the way. He's a very educated man who knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about, and he's a true professional. And so I really thought that was one of my I guess folks that I looked up to a lot.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Those were two great ones.
yeah.
Who's a lesser known historical or contemporary Black leader who inspires you and we should learn more about?
mm, mm, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, because when you think about what we always are taught, and in school is like the tip. Not to say, and I'm not trying to downplay any of these.
Oh no, absolutely not. But we here to say like
The
Black
same.
History Month comes and
Hmm.
it's Frederick Douglass, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King. If you go to a place that's not afraid, Malcolm X. The end.
But in regards to that, I'm trying to think.
So that's why I say contemporary Black leader also,
Mm, contemporary.
and lesser known. So it doesn't have to be someone that 9 out of 10 people would recognize?
I mean, some people may find, say that, oh, well, this person is, you know, a little radical for them at times,
Okay.
but I don't think so. I think she's super dope. And I'm talking about Angela Rye. I think Angela Rye
Okay.
really kind of, sets the tone, because I like how she is very no nonsense, but she's, truly compassionate, and has an understanding of what she's talking about. And
Mhm.
she's not gonna, regardless of whatever platform she's on, she's not gonna let, some people try to silence her, or,
Absolutely not.
rewrite her story. So I give Angela Rye a lot of props,
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Are there any books, films, or artworks related to Black history that you would recommend for listeners seeking to deepen their understanding of Black history?
Absolutely. So anything first and foremost, I think, everybody should always read the autobiography of Malcolm X as told by Alex Haley. I think that's one of the most influential books ever written in all times. Gives you a
Amen.
true understanding about that man. And it's also regarding just going and do some research about the Harlem Renaissance. I found that era to be
Mm.
such a rewarding and enriching era of time. And as far as films are concerned, now these some of these films may make you want to fight somebody, but they will put a perspective in your mind to let you know that history is known to repeat itself. So
Yes.
things that happen in some of these films are happening again, or have the potential to happen. So I would suggest you go and get and look at The Imitation of Life, the,
Ooh,
the original version.
that was my grandmother's favorite movie.
Yes, yeah, that's a great movie. I would also suggest, picking out or going to check out Lady Sings the Blues. That's a great movie
Another great
too.
movie.
And um, what's the other movie I like the most? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, the Do the Right Thing. You
You're right.
can't go wrong with.
Listen, I love how like everything is related to music and or broadcasting. Like this is making my day.
Thank
It is. No, it really is. It really is. A lot of times people think they're like you'll ask them a question and they give you an answer that they think you want to hear.
you. Mhm,
But it's clear that knowing the work that you do, knowing what you're passionate about, like everything, like it's coming across.
mhm,
Because every answer has been like people aren't still talking about Bernard Shaw. People aren't thinking about Ed Bradley. No disrespect. I don't mean that in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Like
no, I feel you.
they're not. Again, a lot of people aren't thinking about Angela Rye being a contemporary leader. And then, you throwing out Lady Sings the Blues, you throwing out Imitation of Life, like Mahalia. I just watched one of the Mahalia Jackson movies on, may have been HBO Max. Let Us See what played Mahalia Jackson.
Mhm,
Uh, Man, and I was thinking about that in Mahalia Jackson's in Imitation of Life. So, I was like, and there was a lot of a lot of music tied to that. So I
mhm.
love and Do the Right Thing. We're talking about Radio Raheem, and rap music was woven into it because of the time period. Uh
Enemy, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yes.
Here it is,
Bam.
you
And
know,
you said this is a dope jam.
that's
Let's
it.
define a word called dope, and you thinking me funky now. Sorry.
Hey, it's
Listen, Public Enemy, whoo, and
yeah,
BDP are like probably like top two groups
mhm.
for me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all.
Hold on. I done lost my spot. Oh man.
I
All
mean,
right.
well,
All right. So let's stay there. What's your go-to songs, or music genre when you want to hype yourself up to conquer the day?
uh, after I do my little, meditations of affirmations and good stuff like that, I mean, it's always going to be something 90s hip hop and R&B, whether it be the Wu
Okay.
Tang, whether it be some, Eric B and Rakim, of course, Public Enemy. Um, but yeah, that's why I listen to when I'm in the gym. Like
Okay.
that's what resonates with me to get me going. But like if I'm just chilling, driving somewhere, I'm always, I'll put my, Apple Music on, my
Mm.
favorites, and then so everything pops up from Coltrane to
Wow.
Stevie, Michael, Prince, Whitney, um, you know, all the OJs, everybody that really kind of just like puts a smile on my face and
Mm.
can take you away with music.
All
'Cause
right.
I always say like music is a source of, I mean, it is like the best medicine ever, you know what I mean? And so regardless of how bad you feel, how good you feel, whatever the case may be, we all have a song or songs that,
Mhm.
help take us or get us through the day or get us through that particular moment that we may be going through.
I love it. And as you see, I got my sage, Palo Santo, crystals, and trap music
There
sweatshirt
you go.
today.
That's I
shout
like
out to shout out to 709 who designed the shirt.
I like it.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. So you've already written a book and you're working on your second one to be released. You said later this year.
Yeah.
So that's where I set you up. Because I feel like you got another book in you. Maybe coming out in the, let's say, the third quarter of 2025.
Hey,
Okay.
let,
So
let me tell you this.
wait.
Oh, good, good.
If you wrote a book about describing your career so far, what would that title be? And again, is it coming out in the third quarter of 2025?
My career, uh,
Yeah.
you know, I think this may be, where people be like, oh man, you don't give yourself enough credit. Like, I don't really perceive myself to be like, someone that would want to write a book, write a book about me. Like, I'm pretty, listen, I'm a pretty bland dude, in my opinion. I think I'm just like a chill dude. And I'm trying, and look,
You
I'm
could
not,
be a chill, you could be chill and not be bland.
well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm full of life. I like to have fun, tell jokes, smoke cigars, listen
Oh,
to music, all that good stuff. Like, so I
just be
don't
called
know.
Dosing 76. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, I think it would be like, uh, the name of the book would probably be called Dope But Still Going.
I
I
love
don't,
it.
yeah,
I love it. Okay.
yeah.
What's the best piece of career advice you never took or that you took later in your career?
Best for someone try to tell me like, yo, you need to, change this about you, or I don't think you're the right fit for this, or and just recently I had, a colleague or a boss or whatever like that try to tell me I didn't sound like someone that typically would fit that particular show. And then in my mind, like, why the hell would I want to sound like them? That's not who I
Right.
am. I'm me. And what I did or have been doing for these years has definitely benefited me from just being me. So I was like, I don't want to cuss on here because I know it's going to be on,
This is trap chat. Like, listen, I'm
I know, this might be on different profile or different platforms on, like the LinkedIn and stuff. And then,
my mama know I
oh, okay. Yeah, but
cuss.
I don't want nobody to be like, oh man, let's get this guy. I want to book him to come and talk. And then be like, oh man, he cussing. So, but all I can say is that dude, I, 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 I
F
have,
him.
yeah, basically.
I said it for you. There you go.
Yeah.
F him.
Basically. So yeah, so that's so one of the things I could definitely say that I try not to lean on someone who comes at you from not from a perspective of wanting to provide you some good advice,
Okay.
and not even from the standpoint of just being we all will have to get some constructive criticism, but if but you're coming from some place of like disdain or whatever the case may be, man, hit the road with that because you're not giving me anything beneficial that I can work with.
Right. I love it. So, unfortunately, we've come to the close, but I want to give you another opportunity to shout out your upcoming projects and initiatives. Tell folks where they can check you out. I see your background, dope chats with Stretch. You got your book coming out later this year. You're on the radio every what? So tell everybody where they can find you, check you out.
All right. Well, thank you first and foremost. Thank you for allowing me to be on this platform with you,
My
man.
pleasure.
This is super dope. Kudos to you for doing all the great work that you do.
Thank
You
you
know,
so much.
that you out here trying to enlighten folks and get them set up with the right path and the right career. So keep doing your thing, sister. Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
no doubt, no doubt. So yes, definitely, y'all can check me out on Instagram at Stretch G, also at Dope Sense 76 Media. Um, as you can see, I have my podcast, which goes down every Tuesday, but not right now. I'm on a little hiatus. Uh,
Okay.
once I'm done with this real estate class, I'm getting my real estate license. So once I'm
Ooh.
I'll be back. But
Okay.
I need to have you on Dope Chats, as a matter of fact. So we're going to do so Dope Chats airs every Tuesday or Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock on Facebook Live,
Love it.
and you can find it on um, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, all that good
Okay.
stuff. But yes, you can also check me out every Friday night for the Friday night vibes on Magic 95.9 in Baltimore. You can download the app or download TuneIn app and tune in that way if you're not in the Baltimore area or DMV area. Of course, go pick up Last Request, available everywhere books are sold. Great book. Trust me, believe me. New book coming out this year.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Oh, I thought you was about to drop stuff like wow.
I mean, I'm always around, and if you are out there, and if you are looking for someone, I should say, to come and speak to some kids or
Yes.
motivational speaking or whatever the case may be, I'm always available. So just hit me
Mhm.
up at stretch at dopesense76.com. Email me and we can talk it out and make it happen, because I'm always willing to sit down and share my story, or at least help people figure out their path.
I love it. I love it. This has been an amazing show. Like, I know that this is supposed to be for everyone else when I do these, but listen, this Black History Month, like this show, every other show, like I've been so filled up. I've gotten so much out of it. Like I'm like, should I keep this for myself? No, I'm gonna share it with the. I'm gonna share everybody with the world. Thank you so much for lending your time. For coming, on the tail end of your birthday celebration, for being Dope Since 76. Y'all make sure that y'all check out Stretch again. Go purchase the book, Last Resort. Everywhere books are sold. Be on the lookout for the upcoming book. Tune into Magic 95.9 on Friday evenings. And don't say I don't live in Baltimore, because y'all know how to get on the internet and type in any radio station in the world, period.
Exactly.
Okay. Check him out and then come back after the hiatus on Tuesdays to check him out on LinkedIn Live for Dope Chats with Stretch. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another Black History Month edition of Doing Your Thing While Doing Their Thing on Trap Chat. See you guys next time. Bye.